videos before I leave out of the house, just with short thoughts that I have on my mind. And the title, as it said, your government knows that Africa is the final frontier. And what do I mean by that? Now, what I mean is many of us who are American Africans in the United States, we're such a threat on a global level. And we're such a threat that if we wake up and realize what we have, how we're specially crafted with a unified mind, that's danger to somebody. Think about it. We are so imitated as Africans worldwide. I'm not here to separate, but the bottom line is that those of us in America are looked at in a special way. We're not better than anyone else, but we're closer to these entities who want to control the world. And that being said, we know the tricks of the trade. We know how they operate. We know how they move because we're in every area of expertise that they have manifested. So who better to know how they operate than those of us who are American Africans? I say American Africans. Some people say African American. Let's switch that around so we can have some unity. But they keep us distracted, and we hear this so much. But this is something that we need to know. I'm going to say a lot without saying a lot. I'm going to say a lot between the lines that later on I can come back and refer you to this video and clarify it a whole lot more because I don't really want to say as much as I know. Now, the stream that I did yesterday vertically was chopped down to a 5-minute highlight reel, and the meat of what I had to say was taken away. I don't know if that's procedure or it's still processing the video, but we'll see. But today I wanted to let you know that what we should be doing as American Africans, the US government is already doing. When you look at the paper, and I've noticed this a lot with our youth that are younger, that may look at the paper. A lot of our youth don't look at the paper. What's the first thing that you notice they go to? They go to the back page. They go to the back page where the sports section is. The sports is never really put on the front page unless it's some game or something really big like the Super Bowl or the World Series, then you have it there. But 9 times out of 10 with most newspapers, it's on the back page. Now we have to understand that what they speak on in the legacy media, the so-called mainstream media that's controlled by a certain faction of people, which I can't say, as in most things in America, the politics, the religion, or you can have your little religions. I don't think it differentiates you from those who are controlling America and the entertainment industry. It's just a diversion. As long as you're operating, waiting for something to pop out of the sky, you're not going to take care of business here on this earth, where you should be trying to make things better for your children in the subsequent generations that come behind you. We don't do that. We're so concerned about celebrities. What are they doing for you? As a distraction, as a time waster. If I can take 10 minutes of your day, every day away from you to focus on me, you're not doing what you should be doing. Brother Kofi, welcome on in. I saw your comments and we're definitely going to talk. But this is a long-range game. Bottom line is that, and I'm choosing my words carefully, we're playing checkers and your enemy and oppressor, an exploiter, is playing chess. They're thinking far advanced, far ahead of most of us. and they're doing a good job of it. They're thinking left and they're throwing something on the right to grab your attention, and time is wasted. I'm still very fiery, but wisdom has taught me to choose my words carefully because they own these platforms. They can shut you down. There's no fear. There was no fear in me in America when I spoke. There's no fear here. But I see what they're doing. And I'm going to say it this way. I'm not going to call out this particular name of this platform, and there are many platforms, but this includes this platform. Your timeline. When you watch something repeatedly, a certain type of video, when you go on your homepage of your page, you see all of these other things suggested to you. And you might see something that might be of interest, and you click on it. And you're letting them know what it is you're interested in. They're going to give you more. But what is really happening in the world that we need to know? It's okay to have personal preferences. If you're into baking and you want to learn more about baking, if you're into home construction and you want to learn more about that, I have no problem with that because that elevates you. It may be a hobby, it may be a professional thing, or an area that you're interested in getting into. When it comes to the decadence and the foolishness that's out here, they're going to keep giving it to you. If they see a small crack of where they can fit in something to distract you and keep you away from what's relevant in the world, they will do so. And we'll wake up after sleeping with our phone all night long and reach for it. And the first thing we do before we even praise and thank our Creator for waking us up this morning is we're up and down a toxic timeline. And for you as an American African and African, whatever country you're in, it's to keep you from thinking of the things that are most important. Think about it. Let's speak about American Africans. Through this thing called slavery, we've been separated. Now, there's some who have not been. I know many people who were born in America, who are first generation Americans, so to say, and they didn't know anything about slavery. Okay, we have a mixture of all types of people, but for the most part still, there are many of us who are separated from the motherland because of slavery. And we don't have a connection to the motherland. But there are other people in other races and other cultures who have their motherland. And they maintain a connection to it because that's what makes them strong. They might be an American, or they might be in America or call themselves American, but they have their land that they can go back to. We don't have that. And for those who argue and say, well, I was born here, I don't know anything else, I'm FBA, whatever, you can say that all you want, and I respect that. But you got to understand, if this is your land, why aren't you fighting to get it back if that land is America? If that's truly your land, why are you taking the punishment from some other people who came on your land, if this is your land? Why are you comfortable with the system that drains you? Why are you comfortable with a system that keeps you from being at your very best in that land that's your land? You see my house here? Nobody's coming past them walls and dictating to me what I'm gonna not have. Nobody's gonna come past those walls and past this sturdily built house to tell me what it is that I'm going to do because they're now in charge. So if that's your land, why aren't you fighting? You say it's your land, but you say it's your land only to throw off on other people who look like you, who may be from a different country. Stop with the narrow-mindedness. That's the trick of the enemy. And those who lead those groups, no matter how much lip gloss they have on their lips, it's a separation thing, because ultimately the oppressor wants us separated from each other globally. We're not allowed to think on a global level. Anybody else can go to any country, but we are questioned but we want to expand our mind beyond America. It's like we can't do that. We're like a little house pet that's not allowed to go freely up and down. I'm going out. I'm your master, but you stay here. That's the bottom line. So your so-called system of indoctrination, which they call educational system, not education. They pick and choose what you need to know. And I know most of you will agree with me when I say this. How come you get on Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube, and certain information that comes out about your history? There's a lot of false things put out, but there's a lot of real things that get out there, but you don't catch it because you're busy looking at somebody's backside or listening to some dirt on somebody who calls himself a celebrity or the world deems him to be a celebrity. We're so distracted. We can't see ourselves beyond the little yard that we're in called America. America's a very, very small place, and I realize that. That what they teach you, they handpick. So now you're limited in your thinking. You're not thinking globally. So you join these little groups in America who throw off on everybody else while you're suffering. Cops pulling you over and shooting you, beating you down. You're qualified for a job that you'll never get, and you're not really allowed to start your own business. And when you do, pretty much it's doomed. Some are successful. But it's a hard climb in America. Stress that you're taking that you don't really have to take because you're in that system, yet you call it your land. In essence, it is, but it's not your system. You're so hung up on saying to other people, you use this as an excuse to throw off, oh, you're African, you need to go back over there. Oh, you're from the Caribbean, you need to go back over there. You didn't build this like we did. But if you built it, why aren't you enjoying it? And I was born in America. First generation by my father, and have been there through my mother, who was born in America. So I always had an expanded mindset. I was groomed to be the way I am now. There's no glitches. Yes, I had hedonistic periods in my life. I think a woman is a beautiful thing, but I've been on point and always where I had the mindset to understand what was going on beyond my little yard. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I left America, and I'm now a Ghanaian citizen legally with a Ghanaian passport. I can travel, I don't have to say anything to America. I have the Ghana card that says that I am Ghanaian on it. Those are mere formalities because that's what I've always known through my bloodline, even though I don't know the names of those who I'm related to here. That's just the way it is. So it's a mere formality and part of my journey. And I would never turn my back on my brothers and sisters in America, but they wonder why I'm here. They're asking me, do you see the lions and the tigers, and do you live in mud huts? I'll tell you this much, this home that we built, I could never live this good in America, and free. They tell you lies, propaganda. But let's get back to the original point. They understand the end game. And your government, the United States government, understands that Africa, Al-Kebulan, is the final frontier. What do I mean by that? Every race in the world, most countries, are trying to get their slice of Africa because this is the richest land in the world, and it's huge. The little part that you see on the map is not a proper rendition. It is so much bigger. See? Thank you, AA Vibes. Thank you so much. Yeah. I have a lot of time to think. I've always been a thinker, even amongst the chaos and madness in America. I never felt at home there. I have no anger there. No, I'm not angry in America. I wish I would have left there a lot earlier, but nothing happens before it's time. Right? But it's the final frontier. If you are connected to your homeland, whether you were born in America, what is really your homeland? Where can you extract power? You have the Chinese coming here, setting up shop, gaining power for their country, their continent, their country, by sucking from the resources here. right? You have everybody else. You have the Arabs who are dominating in Northern Africa. And understand that when you see news about a country in Africa, it is a separate country. So you can see the travesties that are going on in Sudan and different places. That doesn't mean it's Ghana. It doesn't mean it's in Nigeria. It doesn't mean it's in Tanzania. So you see something in ignorant people. Oh man, I saw something in Sudan, man. You safe over there, man? It's terrible over there. From what I know, there's 54 different countries. Just because Canada is connected to America, it's all the Americas, it's all the continent of North America, but because that Canada is connected to America, if something goes crazy, it doesn't mean it's happening in America. Mexico is connected to Texas, right? A whole different world, the same landmass, right? So don't get it confused. There's so much ignorance and nobody corrects them in school. Nobody in school from the early grades tells you about Africa, Al-Kebulan, and how great it is, what it has contributed. They hold those things back. Up here in the mountains where I live, I could walk for 90 seconds or 2 minutes and get to the road to catch a van because I'm not driving right now, right? It's okay, I don't need the money. I mean, I don't need I don't have the money for the worry of a vehicle right now, right? When I stand there and wait for the van's popped. There's a lot of them. Transportation's no problem for me. And I like putting that car money in my pocket or leaving it in the bank because I need it right now. You know how many luxury cars I see? Not just a regular Benz or regular BMW. You know the regular ones you see every day. Okay, that's a BMW, nice car. That's a Benz, nice car. That's a Jaguar, nice car. But I see those specialty Benz trucks more than once that are like $500,000 in Africa, in Ghana, up in the mountains. And when I see the vehicle pass me by as I'm waiting for the van, I get a quick glimpse. That's not a black man driving it. Some are, yes. But up in these parts, tucked away in these mountains where you have people who were born and raised here, who lived here all their life, and this is their world. They go to the town, they live where they live. It may not be luxurious, but they have their world. We from America and other countries are the ones who come and see the beauty here and build these homes. So sometimes people hear me say, hey, you got a lot of money, because where I live is really small and basic. Doesn't mean that. Just means that the American, the rate of exchange and the buying power, even though the American dollar is diminishing, still has a little power, but it's on its way out. And when I see these faces, I come to realize in my own research that a lot of people here from China, from Lebanon, from Turkey, and those who I've met here from those parts are very, very nice people. I wouldn't say, oh, they're oppressors, but the one thing, they know they get more bang for the buck, and they have these big Walmart, Target-like stores, big businesses, where they import things. They're not nickel and diming it like a lot of the people who are here. And I'm not putting the people down who are here, but they're not nickel and diming it. They come to have a big scoop. They see the potential. Yet, those of us who are American Africans want nothing to do with this place. The people who I've talked to several Lebanese and Turkish business owners here who have businesses that are not very flashy. I know several who own yards where they create cinder blocks and building materials, basic stuff, because there's a lot of building going on here. And I'm not on my point right now. I just want to say this because I'm getting ready to leave. I'm going to see if I can get some B-roll footage where I go. And I'm going to do a show tonight. We're going to get down in it. Everything's set up over there. So I can just push a button and I'm on. This is something quick. When I see how they move and I see how ignorant we are in America, that we are surrounded by psyops and agents, and I hate to say that word because people will think I'm paranoid, but there have been recently some events, I'll say here, that were cloaked. There wasn't much hype about it, and they happened, and some high profile people were part of it. I want to say it without giving it away right now, but the groups that I observed, that I'm a part of, knew nothing of it. And these are groups that monitor those types of things. And when I say monitor, nothing sneaky, but if you're into tennis, you look at the tennis websites. If you're into boxing like me or bodybuilding like me, I watch these sites. And these things happen here in Ghana, and much people didn't know about it. They were dumbfounded with the people who arrived and their statuses. And why was it kept so secret when it's such a joyous event? Well, in a discussion with my dear sister, who I refer to as Custom Model because she's a life coach to me, excellent, talented in her area and beyond and in life. She mentioned that briefly, and I caught on to it. You know, when somebody mentions something, they don't think about it as much, but they say it, but it hits you like, oh, and you can run with it. Well, that was the situation, right? And I began to think about it from different angles, because you know, truth is truth is truth. 4 plus 5 is 9. 11 minus 2 is 9. 6 plus 3 is 9, and so on and so forth. 20 minus 11 is 9. So there are many ways to get to 9. There's many ways to observe one thing several different ways, right? So as I began to take that one statement she made and break it down, there had to be truth to that. Going back to the title, your government understands that America is the final frontier. America wants to have their nose in everybody's business. This is a fact, whether you realize this or not. If you're just realizing this now, you're a Johnny-come-lately. So when they see that there's a country or an area that is celebrated like Ghana, and it doesn't have to be just in Africa, but for whatever reason, where they feel that there's something going on that they need to know about, we need to plant our people there. So we will make it legal for them to be there, but it won't be celebrated like prior events. All I'll say that what I was, how could I say it? Well, I got my citizenship here in Ghana, legally, everything. It was a highly celebrated event. Why, when something else that happens similar afterward, you're just finding out about it as it happens or right after it finished happening? And while everybody who's involved, it may be a smaller thing, those who know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it. Algorithms are AI driven, and you can't get away from nothing with that. The human, when it was just human moderators looking for stuff. So I'm going to, like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to speak in a very coded way, right? Within that grouping, which had no publicity, and the people who facilitate that level of events to help you move along in the process, they knew nothing of it. It's like the drones in the United States. They, we don't know anything about this. I was listening to a podcast that broke it down in a very scary way. I'll share that later on today, and I might talk about it briefly and play certain clips because it was really, really deep and detailed. And a lot of stuff you had to listen to that I'm not going to say it's going to go over your head, but it might be boring. It's like, okay, let's get to the point type thing. So America is going to make sure that there are people placed all over the world in places of interest, whether it's of interest now or interest 20 and 30 and 40 years from now. Intel, information, let's find out. Where does this one live? What are his habits or his or her habits? Okay, he's speaking revolutionary and he's influential. but secretly he's a drunk. He's an alcoholic. Okay, we got that on him. That's the way we're going to get to him. Well, this man or woman is speaking in a revolutionary way, but he likes women. We're going to get to him now. So we're going to send him women that he can't resist, right? This guy likes to run his mouth. We're going to get around people who will say things and get out of him what he knows, why he's there. Intel, not just on individuals, but on corporations, big businesses here that they can destroy over time, not overnight. The one that comes to you smiling is the one that you have to watch out for unless you vet them over time. And they should understand that. This is why now, more so, it's a blessing to move alone. I have my inner circle that nobody knows about. And one of the tactics that you have to utilize is that, and what I've learned, I'm not going to say the hard way, because it's a blessing, because I'm traveling light now. Betrayal is a wonderful thing when you land on your feet and you're stronger than ever before. So I take a lot of pride in that. But the different factions in different parts of your world, keep them separate. It may sound cruel. This might not be for everybody, but when you're on that level where you're being observed, and you've been observed for the last 20 years because of the things that you live for and the things that you say, don't allow people who come into your life as friends at first, because my original crew that I've known from, the first one was 1969, the next one was 1971, two more in 74, 75, late 70s, and very few that I've known after that. Sprinkling here and there on different levels. Compartmentalize your social life. Be very careful what you say, and don't have every separate part of your social life know each other unless you grew up together. And even then they can be approached. This is what it's going to take, and I know I sound crazy for saying this, because you never know who's approaching you. You see, everybody and their mama, when they come out here to visit or get citizenship, they throw on the ankh. I'm not saying everybody, but the dashiki, they change their name, they do their hair a certain way, and now we're supposed to accept them at face value. I don't know you. Where you come from? Let's establish a history so I can see what you're about over time. Anybody in their right mind would understand that, because with social media, with the ability to track our phones, your phone is spying on you. If they want to get into your phone, no matter how much you think, because you have a fingerprint, or you can use your eye, or you can punch in a code that, oh, nobody gets my phone. Well, maybe the person on the same level as you. But the bottom line is, the high-tech thing is all against us. All you have is your thoughts. And your patterns will let people know what you're about. And you give that away. So the low vibrational people who just want to gossip, they're nothing. They won't stop you. They're jealous of you. They gossip about you. They say things. Go ahead. Waste your time thinking about me. I have something higher to do. You see, when we look back on the real revolutionaries, we have so many people who will come to a different country that are well known because they're boosted up on YouTube, and we accept them as a revolutionary. But what have you done? What movement do you have? I don't call myself anything. So there's no movement coming from me that one would expect I may influence some people. I'm just a regular guy at the bus stop or the doctor's waiting room who you talk to. But I'm not beating my chest. I am this, and I am your savior, and I am the prophet, and I've had knuckleheads tell me in private, well, you know, Lance, the world can't understand us right now, but you know I'm a prophet. And yes, we could all see ourselves that way in a sense. But homeboy was like, he was saying it to the point where there's another book of the Bible coming because you're a prophet. We all have a work to do, and we are all leaders. We need to stop looking out for these other people, because that's in our wiring as black people, as American Africans. We're always looking outside. Everybody's not a Johnny Cochran. But we look at Benjamin Crump like he is. Because to me, he's compromised, he's manufactured, always losing cases, can't talk right. But we need to have somebody in that slot. People look at Michael Jackson like he was deranged, or they want to say things about him. He's gone now from this plane. But when you think about him, you realize that he was a revolutionary through his creativity. Look, his upbringing, the relationship with his father, his functions. Don't focus on that. Focus on the man's heart. Focus on what they became eventually. Through all of that, his face being changed and his hang-ups and different things that he had to go through. Don't look at that, because we all come from dysfunction. There's probably things about me that you think is weird. There's probably things about you that other people think are weird. Let's forget that part. Let's look at the core. Michael Jackson was straight up revolutionary. Michael Jackson was straight up revolutionary more than anybody that you'd call an Al Sharpton, who once wore wires for the government. I believe it was the CIA. But they scrubbed that off the internet. And that's what I talked about yesterday too. But they reduced the size of the 23-minute video to 5 minutes of a highlight toward the end. But I was telling you what I'm going to do for the rest of the week. Let's see what they do with this one. This is 31 minutes so far. Let's see if they chop it down. Doesn't matter, because it's the things I do on other platforms and I save them. I choose what I re-upload. But they always present us with something, a false nutrition, meaning that we crave these outside leaders. And yes, we can have them like Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey, right? But they come along every few, whatever. Now, with YouTube and social media, everybody can say, well, he has a setup, he has a camera, he has this, he has that. Let me get up and push myself as being the next whatever, and let me research and verbally plagiarize other people to sound good. And so now many of us are just looking for the ego satisfaction, the narcissistic satisfaction, and we ain't doing nothing. And if your hunger is strong enough for those slots of being a psyop, and my battery is getting so low, I'm at 5%. I didn't know it was going to drop down so fast. I'm going to have to get up off of this thing. Okay, let me wrap it up in 2 minutes. The government will plant people in different countries to observe those who are true revolutionaries. I said a while ago how there was a higher up in the government or in a certain position who said you have to put irrelevant pieces or pieces of the puzzle that look irrelevant together and see how they match up. They said that they're going to limit Ghana visas from America to Ghana, not because of any Ghanaian citizen or Ghanaian leader, but they don't want people who are going to go to Ghana to interfere with the democratic process here, with the democracy here. Why would they do that and not really say why? It's Black people coming to Ghana, for the most part, to live in with this emotional feeling of a connectedness to the motherland. The other races, the other people, they want to exploit, they want to make money and take it out for their country. And they will live here too. So it shows me that America has plans and has their eye on Ghana, right? So they're going to allow people to secretly come here and get their citizenship after the fact, not in a celebrated situation, but where you can, and not everybody, but out of the 80, you can get 15 to 20 good agents who are proven to backstab and throw their people under the bus and give the intel back. They may be brainwashed to think they're doing the right thing, but don't think that it's just about Russia or Ukraine. They know that a lot of us are going to come here and live good, thrive, but we're going to have our mindset of knowing what we came from and how to deal with the oppressors in the government and in the system in America, to know how to get those people here hip to the game. Because so many, oh, I love America, I want to go to America, 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 America. No. So you got to be careful how you say things. And you don't know who you're dealing with, wearing an ankh and a dashiki and making up, they come with different names, trying to appeal to you in your emotionalism. There is emotionalism to a degree with me. but it's what's proper and it's restoration. But when you see how many people can flip the script and they claim to be this and that, and after a few months they sputter out. Many people are wordsmiths and come on the social media and say good things, but do they show you their personal life? I know I've shown you my personal life. There's things I'm not going to reveal publicly, but for the most part, you know about 95% of my life. Who are these people who appeal to you that come out of nowhere? Yet in America, we're sitting up, I ain't going to do no Africa. You better get a connection with somewhere outside of that country because they don't love you there. And again, if it's your land, fight for it. Show me a concerted effort of you fighting to restore what you say is yours. The whole planet is ours. We're the first caretakers of the planet. We're the original man and woman of the earth. But some other people have come and they have the most brutal history and reputation in their culture is how they deal with the world when you hear the true history. When you were in school years ago in America, if you grew up there, and how to describe slavery was so mild. But imagine you were there. These are the same people that you trust and you revere and you look up to. And you're letting them in your country to spy on you because they don't see you as anything. They don't care about you as a black man or black woman. You're a pawn. The agendas that they're trying to push here. I'm not going to say too much, but I'll say things in a coded way. My battery's running down. I have to end this. I will be back. I have some runs to make. And let me see how I ended this yesterday. Let me hit this button again. Seems like yesterday I just didn't know how to end it. I'm going to keep on going with this. Let me see. Okay. I'm having brain farts here, y'all. Help me out. Maybe if I hit that button. Okay, that's how we do it. Now I know. Anyway, I will be back on later on, maybe in the afternoon on the East Coast. Because right now, we're moving up in time. It's probably coming up near noon now, or 11 around that time. Think about what I said. If you have any questions, hit me up directly. And Lance at Lancescurv.com. And there'll be other ways that I put out that are more secure. But I have a lot of time to think, a lot of tranquility. I see a whole lot of things. Let me know what you think. If you're lost on what I said, leave it in the comment section. Maybe I'll answer back in a coded way that's not so mysterious. My phone is blinking out, y'all. I gotta go. Much love. Salute to the brothers. Much love to the sisters. Let's keep going with the real knowledge and not the sensationalism and the entertainment and the decadence, which is reducing our vibration. Let's see what's really happening in the world. And always think global because you are a global citizen. This planet was in your hands long before anybody else came along. So you have the right. Don't think small. Don't just think about, oh, I'm from America. That's a small dot on the map. Think bigger than that because you are bigger. You're part of nature. That's why they want to separate us from nature. Anyway, let me start again. I'll talk about some things later on. Much love to you all. Take care. Lancescurv.